Parry from EQUITY.GURU here. As you know, sometimes I like to sit at my desk and hit the power button on my camera and just rant for a minute about something. Today I'm going to talk about Ontario sportsbooks. Why am I talking about that? Because Ontario, as much as it's made some really terrible decisions governmentally over the past several years, has made an interesting new rule that has allowed sportsbooks to open with iGaming solutions in Ontario for Ontarians very recently. Now, you've probably been asleep if you hadn't been aware that there's been a proliferation of sportsbook companies, esports betting companies, and the like over the past year and a half. They've all been viewing Canada as a location that's about to open up for the sorts of sports betting options that are available all over Europe and increasingly in the US. That is being able to bet on games, being able to bet on single events within games, being able to bet on esports, being able to bet on all manner of things. In fact, in Europe, if you want to, you can bet on second division girls' high school volleyball. Honestly, there's odds for every damn thing that is happening in any sort of competitive way, and you can go around and you can bet on the whole damn thing. Now, in Canada, it's a little bit different. The limitations on sports betting are pretty strict, but in Ontario, things are opening up. And so there's been a bit of a land grab in order to get access to that province for companies that either are into sportsbooks or supplying technology to sportsbooks. Now, FansUnite, a formerly client company of ours, but hey, we like to talk about anything that we've been involved with if it's good. Fans stock has been down, but they have been approved for licensing to operate in Ontario. Now, this is a big deal, because if you've watched DAZN, TSN, any sort of Sportsnet, sort of sports networking in Canada over the last 6 months, you have been inundated with commercials for sports betting apps. Many of them not yet applicable in this country. So they're all free, right? It's like in the early days of poker, where you could play PokerStars for free, and the hope was that they would convince you that you're good enough to go and do the paid stuff. That was maybe a little bit more harder to get into in terms of compliance. Similar thing happening today. Betway, all sorts of companies like that are offering free sports betting in a fantasy environment, real bets. And if you want to get into the real environment, well, that's coming soon. Soon available in Ontario, as Ricky from the Trailer Park Boys has been saying on one of them. So anyway, massive amounts of money being spent to try and get people onto potential user lists. So when Fans announced that they had the access to the licensing that would allow them to provide odds and technology to sportsbooks and casinos as Ontario opens up, that's a big deal. It's a really big market within Canada, massive audience. It's not Canada-wide by any stretch, but close enough. Basically the equivalent of saying that you're able to do business in New York. So for mine. So this is a big deal for fans. Now, also a big deal for a company called Tiidal Gaming. Now, Tiidal is a smaller deal than FansUnite by any stretch. It is a company that, let's say, is in the same wheelhouse as Fans, a little less operationally, but as much technology-wise. TIDL is the ticker symbol, also a client of ours, so I'm not going to apologize that good companies are clients of ours. Tiidal started off life as an esports team, more or less. A couple of years ago, we're looking to come out in the midst of the esports gold rush on PubCos, dragged their feet a little bit, didn't get out while the going was good, and as esports as a sector got kind of bashed around for all the reasons that I was talking about when it was big, that is, valuing a group of 4 15-year-olds playing CSGO at $50 million is probably not an ideal investing strategy. As soon as they get girlfriends or get school exams, suddenly your investment is gone. So esports went up and went down. Now, the real guts of esports is going to be esports betting, because owning a team, it's a vanity play. There's no real money in it. You're basically content creators and hanging ads off the back of that content. Not the best business strategy, but being able to supply esports betting odds to a variety of casinos and online and off around the world, that's interesting. Now you're getting a little piece of everybody else's deal. So there's a real gold rush on for users at the high end, but for the technology at the low end. And that's where FansUnite and Tiidal are interesting deals to me. Now you've got other companies out there. You've got a series that maybe have a similar sort of potential business model. I point to Real Luck Group, LUCK is the ticker symbol. That thing was called Luckbox originally, and as it was preparing to come public, I can't tell you how much enthusiasm there was from the market for this thing to come out. It was run by guys that were real operators in the casino space, really had their ducks in a row. It came public, it didn't take, maybe the timing wasn't great. I lost a bunch of money in it, a whole bunch of other people lost money in it, and quite frankly now it seems to be drowning, not waving. So as that share price crashed and FANS sunk from its high to where it is now, and TIDL sunk from its high to where it is now, there's peace out there on the plains. Nobody really knows who's going to be the one that jumps into the catbird seat and really makes money out of this sector. But what we do know is, if we look at every other state in the US that has allowed this expanded esports betting and sports betting to happen, is money floods in. It is a real thing. In Europe, sports betting, it's everywhere. Half the teams in the Premier League are sponsored by online betting companies. You can't move for esports and sports betting deals. So especially now that the Russians, who initially were leading the pack in that group, have been largely cleaved away from it, there's a real now burst of interest in this scene and money being made. Canada is a year or two away from that. Legislatively and also consumer-wise, we haven't yet got our head around the fact that we could bet on who's going to score the next goal in a hockey game, or whether the next play in an NFL game is a pass or a run. We're not quite there yet, but we're getting there. And when we do, local companies are likely to be the ones that benefit. So FansUnite is going to be interesting. Tiidal Gaming is going to be interesting. Luck, man, I hope it's interesting because I've still got stock in that thing and I'm so underwater I don't even know what to do. Hey, Luck, if you have a plan, call me. Otherwise, if you're interested in esports, if you're interested in sports betting, they are essentially the same sector. There's no other way to make money on esports than betting on it, frankly. Unless you want to be investing in streamers like Twitch, which Amazon owns and is not selling, or some sort of technology that is yet to be discovered that is going to democratize the space. Betting is where it's at, FANS, and for Tiidal, I believe we're looking at TIDL. Those two are worth your time. They are trading at lows. They are not going to jump tomorrow, but when they do jump, it will be on an announcement of news that is of real impact. It will happen like biotech stocks. It'll be flat, 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 and then one morning you'll wake up to find that they make a big announcement and your stock price is up. That's my belief. Now, you can't predict that. They all might go to zero. That's the way the market goes. But for mine, buying at their low and waiting is a decent way to play this space. I honestly don't think that the shares can get reasonably much lower. Reasonably being the key word, but you never know. So I'm at a point now where I'm buying on lows and holding so that when these things do kick, I'm right there at a really good price. Thanks for listening. That's my rant for the day.